This show is sponsored by PowerfulWomenUSA.com, a place to be inspired by other women. Hey, everybody, I'm Jill Conway, and this is Secrets of Powerful Women, a show dedicated to celebrating and supporting strong and successful women and sharing their stories. So I'm hoping you'll be inspired to pursue your own dreams, reclaim your voice, and discover your strengths. So my guest today is Diane Schwartz. She is the CEO of Ragan Communications, the first female CEO in Ragan's 60-year history. She is a media and communications expert. And Diane, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, Jill. Thanks for having me.
I want to talk about that. All right. So you just got the job, okay, as CEO in this company that's never had a female CEO before. What was day one? You're sitting in that chair, in that office. What did that feel like?
So that was 2019. And so that was pre-COVID and before people were working remotely or that was like a thing, you know. So for me, I should probably rewind a minute on that because it was less about being a female in this role, but it was more for me about the first time being in a role running a company and gender notwithstanding, you know, but I did get a lot of messages from people, cousins, people I haven't talked to, like, so great to see a woman in this role. And I'm sure we'll talk about this, but I don't necessarily put, gender first in terms of how I think about career success. However, there are realities around that. And I am really proud to be I was feeling a sense of pride, excitement, little bit of nervousness. It's like, I've, never run a company before, but Mark Ragan believed in me. And, I knew that he believed that I could do this job. And so a lot of it is a mental exercise, right? You believe in what you want to believe. And I did believe in myself on that day one. And I knew there were a lot of things I didn't know and that I would be leaning on a lot of people to help me. But it was exciting. Exciting would be the thing that I felt the most is excited.
Yeah. I love that you said that because I don't feel that often it's oftentimes a reflection when someone points it out, like, oh, you're the first female, blah, 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 and it's like, well, I didn't get here because I'm the first female. I got here because I deserve the job, regardless of what I look like. So I love that. And that's a hard, the excitement and then the nerves, like, oh my God. When we first met, you had said that to me, like it was, obviously as you've gone through the ranks, so to speak, all these different jobs over the course of your career. And we'll talk about that too. But there has to be, I always ask, like you said, there are doubts. How do you silence those doubts when you're like, can I do this? Or when you were first asked, I guess. Did you apply or were you like, you were pretty much the point person?
I had known Mark for 20 years, Mark Ragan. And so I had built a very good professional relationship with him. He was a competitor of mine from my previous job. So we knew each other for 2 decades. And as he was looking to step away and looking for a successor, and he asked me casually, what did I think about taking over this role? And at first, I was thinking he wasn't really serious, like a hypothetical thing, but it was actually an informal offer. And, I jumped at it. And so, the rest is kind of like history. I don't really think, but like, I'm the kind of person is just, I dig in and start doing the job. And not, I kind of think, what's the worst that can happen? Like there's this thing in communications and PR that like PR is not ER, we're not saving lives. Although I will say that during COVID, there was a little bit of that saving of lives through the communications role, which I'm really excited to talk about. But my philosophy almost with any like challenging work that I do is I always think about what's the best that can happen and what's the worst that can happen. I play it out in my mind. I think this is in life in general. And when you really see like to the nth degree, like what's the worst that it's really not that bad. And we'll
Right.
deal with it. Everything you can figure out a solution to, I think.
I love that. It is a mindset. It is a complete mindset and a mind game. And often
Yeah.
people don't realize that, right? You can talk yourself into something or talk yourself out of something, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I started at Ragan, one of the challenges was a new person coming in
An
who,
outsider.
after a
Yeah.
leader had been running the company
Mm,
for 30 years, and part of my goal and my charge really was to increase revenue, build the brand, grow the audience, increase engagement, improve the quality of everything that we're doing. So with that, there's a
That's
little bit
not
of a
easy.
shake-up.
That's not easy. That's a long list, Diane.
I love
Yeah.
challenges and
Yeah.
I but it takes people, it takes, a certain team to be on board. And so, a little bit of a shake up. And
Mm,
so little bit of it dealing with maybe people who weren't happy with some of the decisions I had to make.
mm,
But I had been in roles and positions where that was the case. So that wasn't new to me.
mm,
But, I took everything pretty seriously, but I also had to move on. It's
mm,
like I couldn't labor on one person or any statements or,
mm,
um, anything being said about the choices that were made. I believed in the
mm,
decisions. A few
mm.
of them, might not have been, some decisions were better than others, but like what we do at Reagan is we're so fast moving. We have so many things going on at once. You have to just keep moving and
Mm.
learn.
Let me ask you this. This is you brought up something. So, as the CEO of a big corporation, a big company, do you hear those rumors when people like how does I find that so interesting because oftentimes, we don't think the CEO knows what's happening. They don't hear that people are, grumbling or whatever, but you did.
I don't know everything that
Mm.
everyone say, but social media, for better or worse, you can learn a lot. We did employee surveys, pulse surveys, even through the transition and like every year, twice a year at Reagan.
Mm.
So we get feedback constantly
Mhm.
internally, and we cover internal communications and employee comms and external, and we like to practice what we preach. And so
Mm.
we do a lot of, I'm very keyed into employee morale, workplace dynamics. And yeah, I mean,
Mm.
if you're looking for something online, you can find it. If you're looking to
Yeah.
see what people are saying, you can find it. But that's just you got to rise above it. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of really positive things being said too, which helps. It helps with the motivation for me and my team.
Mm.
And our employee pulse surveys for the past like 3 to 4 years have been outstanding. So I'm like
Mhm.
really proud of what we've done at Reagan and the team that we built and all the people excited to be with
Yeah.
us on this journey.
Yeah. For everyone who doesn't know, tell us what exactly Reagan does, what your company does.
We provide learning and development and community to communicators, marketers, and HR professionals. So we're platform agnostic, if you will. So we provide that training and community through our conferences. We do a lot of conferences in person and we have virtual. We have an online learning platform. We have a membership community called the Communications Leadership Council, made up
Mhm.
of some of the top global brands in the world. Global world. I'm always editing myself, but We have a center for AI strategy. We have awards programs. So our goal is to help communicators at every stage of their career be more influential and make an impact in their organization. So we're ahead of the curve in like the trends and developments, and we're there for our customers, no matter what their job title is in communications or marketing.
Wow. And you have a very big client list, a very big, massive client list. How are you? Do you travel a lot? I mean, it is a global company. I already know you're traveling soon, so I asked that, but I don't know if it's
leaving today for a trip.
Yeah.
Yes, we have conferences all over the country, and so I'd like to be there, be in the community. We're also a mostly remote company. Our headquarters are in Chicago. I'm in Connecticut. We have people all over the country, so it's like our moving office. We have a lot of our employees that come to our conferences. As a team, we're able to be together more often because of the benefit of our in-person events. So yeah, I travel to almost all of our events plus industry events as well. So I'd say once a month on the road for like 3 to 5 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's good for my
significant.
marriage, Jill. You know, it's
In what way? You get a nice little break?
nice to get away. Yeah.
Well, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Exactly. I think that works.
Yeah. I think everyone needs a little break once in a while, and I think that's healthy. But Diane, what I love about part of your story is that you were a journalist. You started out, right? Did you go to school for that?
I went to American University and I got a journalism degree, and I aspired to be a journalist. Newspapers at the time, so I'm aging myself here, but I have a very curious mind. I mean, from when I was very little, and I love to write. And so those two areas converge in journalism. They also do converge in my role now as well. But early career, I was a journalist for small newspapers on the East Coast. I covered everything from, I interviewed death row inmates in Virginia, and then a week later I was traveling with Miss Virginia for like the Miss USA pageant. So I had a wide range of beats that I was on over the years, and I love it. I love writing. I love reporting, getting to the bottom of things. And so I really enjoyed that part of my career, but I realize that I love the business side of it as well. So I had the opportunity to move from a journalism position to more editing and leading a team of content creators, and then running a division that was, with a P&L responsibility and beyond journalism. So I love that part of it, but the journalist in me is always there.
Yeah. Yeah. How do the skills that you learned in that help you now?
Well, I mentioned the curiosity, and you get it too as a media person, right? There's always, I have so many questions going into almost any situation, almost to the point where I have to, limit the number of questions that I might ask. But it helps, the journalism background helps obviously in writing and crafting messaging that gets to the point and gets to what the reader, what's in it for the reader. That WIFM channel, what's in it for me, that was ingrained in me in journalism school. And it's in everything that we do with customers. It's not about us, it's about our customers. And, but that curiosity takes me far, and it allows me, in any meeting, there's never that silence. There's always something to talk about with somebody. From a networking standpoint, it helps. From a business standpoint, it helps. That journalism background, little bit of skepticism is healthy, and the best journalists are skeptics.
Yes.
And now, I'm getting I'm answering this in a long-winded way, but even now with AI and with deep fakes and misinformation, disinformation, information, having that skeptical vein running through your body, I think is critical.
I know.
In
I am
business.
never short of questions. I think I was I was at an event yesterday and I was telling the story of how I had years ago when I was 5. I first got my first microphone, a Donnie Marie microphone, and I plugged it in. I plugged it into an AM FM radio when I was 5 for Christmas, and I would go around and interview everyone, and and how they like their gift and all this, and then so many years later became a news reporter. And it's so funny to me. I have never been short on questions ever to this day. People are like, how you come up with questions? I'm like, I can come up with 1,000 questions. Just tell me what you do, and we'll go from there. And you will never have to worry about dead air. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
true. It's like a muscle, that we have.
Was that a tough transition though? Because I feel like when you're in journalism and then you cross that lane over to communications and PR and things like that, that's it's not always easy.
No, I think you need to like the business side of things. I mean, I shouldn't even say just, it's a very worthy career, and it's a valuable role in Ragan, the content team and the journalists that we have on our team, reporting on what's going on and helping through content creation to make our customers better. So it would be a hard transition if I didn't love the business side and all that comes with it. Marketing, sales, finance, IT, all those areas of the business are all just so interesting to me, but it's not for everyone, for sure. It would be a hard transition for someone who doesn't want to lead people. I mean, if you're an individual journalist and you're not an editor or manager, it's an individual contributor. It's a solo type of role. I like the team dynamics, the collaborative nature, the job that I do. So it was not a hard transition for me.
Well, what is the hardest part about leading a team, would you say? Like, how big is your team now?
We have about 60 employees and then freelancers and others and thousands of customers. So we have a pretty big footprint for, the size of our company. And for me, it's so much about the domino effect, if you will, of running a company, and that it's not just about the employees that we have on our team, but it's taking care of them and their families, that there's more than just that one employee. It's all the people around them that make up that person. And so thinking about that personal side and just the responsibility we have as an employer to make sure our business is vibrant, growing, sustainable, so that everybody has jobs that they like and, are being paid fairly and are able to advance in their careers. So I think about it from that part being that big responsibility to make sure that we're doing things well and doing things right so that we can continue to grow and that the people can continue to grow.
So you became a CEO then right before COVID, when everything's just stopped and changed and shifted gears. So how were you able to handle that at that point? Because you're still kind of like, were you a year in? Or not even?
Well, picture March 2020, we were holding a conference. Our social media conference is held every March, sometimes February, but every March in Orlando, Florida, at Disney World. It's a business conference held there. And that was the days that we were there were the days that they started closing down travel. I think the NBA canceled their games. So when sports cancels, that there's something serious going on. They actually closed down the park, Disney World. I think it might have been the second time ever in its history that it closed down. So we were there with about 350 attendees. And none of us knew, if you recall, like really what was going on then. So that was a crisis situation where fortunately we were all able to get home. And then things started unfolding pretty quickly where we all realized this is very serious, and business travel and conference in person just stopped, screeching halt. Fortunately, we were equipped to handle that because we've been doing a lot of online learning and training, online conferences. So we pivoted right away to moving everything online, to making our Communications Leadership Council this safe haven, if you will, for communicators to talk to one another and figure out how to communicate all these changes happening like by the minute.
Yeah.
They needed to communicate that out to the employees. And employees were looking to their employer for guidance, help, if you recall. So that was a very weighty time for us. The silver lining in that period was that the communicator in these organizations, their teams were front and center of the COVID response within organizations. And those who had like internal comms, employee comms roles, sometimes that was like a secondary thankless role in some organizations. All of a sudden, the employee is the most important person in, the C-suite's eyes. Obviously you need to take care of the employees, frontline, and even, those not on the front line. So the communicator became like that strategic partner to the C-suite, and we were in this prime position to help them navigate that. And there were also people who lost jobs in, communicators who were furloughed or let go. And so we were also a place for them. We freed up a lot of our services and content for the community because belts were being tightened around spend as well. So we were very responsive and trying to be proactive to like both of those gears we were on. And we really kind of thrived during COVID. It was very purposeful work that we were doing. So it was a scary time, but also a very invigorating time and purposeful time for us.
Well, and you had already, like you said, you were already doing so much online and Zoom calls and things like that. So that's fantastic. So many companies hadn't ever really, or very limited. Yeah.
Yeah, we were all set up for that. And it's crazy now when you think about it, how it's odd to just get on an audio call with someone. That's like secondary to a video call, but figuring out how to appear on camera and, just all the things that came with that we're now like taking for granted in a sense today. Right. A lot of things have carried over from COVID.
Yeah, I still love audio calls. I feel like our first call was audio, and you're like, oh, this is this is so nice. Yeah. It's so funny. I have a Zoom call later too, but I still love the audio calls. I don't know why. I mean, I feel like half the time I'm in my car, or I'm moving or something. Maybe that's why. But I feel like we all need to get back to that a little bit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Refreshing.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. All right. So. All right, let's take a quick pause here. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Diane Schwartz. You're listening to Secrets of Powerful Women. Please follow us online, and we'll be right back because this is so good. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. I'm Jill Conway. If you love what you're listening to, please like and subscribe to my channel on whatever podcast platform you listen to and on YouTube so I can keep bringing you these amazing women and sharing their stories. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you love it as much as I do. Okay, welcome back. You're listening to Secrets of Powerful Women. Diane Schwartz is with me. So, Diane, we were talking in the other half about, your career and things like that. But I wanted to talk quick about Ragan. And since you started, you've really started many women's initiative that didn't exist before in your company. So talk about that and how important that was to do for you.
Yeah, thanks for asking about that. That was really important to me and the team, that we started recognizing women in communications that are killing it, if you will. And part of, what we see in this field now, women have definitely advanced into senior roles in comms and marketing and HR. I mean, it's very female heavy. It's like 70 to 80% in some cases. Our events are women attending, yet the C-suite titles are not as prevalent for women. And that is changing for the better. We like to think we and my fellow like trade media, are playing a part on that and amplifying all the great work from women. But for us, we wanted to shine a spotlight on the top women and also bring women together in a safe space through our women's retreats, where they get a chance to meet these other top women. Because, when you go to an awards event, you're in and out and you're not necessarily seeing your fellow honorees. So these retreats and our women's circle that we have are a way to bring women together to talk about, common challenges and opportunities, both at work and in their personal lives. And so we have a top women in communications and marketing and HR, 3 different awards programs, and these retreats that we do, which are business summits, but also that's for women to come together and support one another and sort of tackle the glass ceiling issues still impacting women in our field.
Yeah. Why do you think that so few C-suite roles are women still?
It's a game of catching up to, centuries, decades of women not being in leadership roles. So there has been progress. I'm not a psychologist, on this issue, but we do a lot of, suffice it to say, we do a lot of training around leadership, negotiation skills. There's imposter syndrome lurking out there, and it might be having to do with how we're brought up, and I think with younger generations, I think it's going to be less of a theme. But I know, like for me, I'm the youngest of 4. I have 3 older brothers. My parents never expected me to be a CEO. Let's just put it that way. But that wasn't like something that it would even cross their minds,
Right.
and it's just times are changing for the better in that way. And I've always had the benefit of working for female and male leaders, but male leaders who've supported women, and so for me it hasn't been a barrier. I do see it being a barrier for many women.
We spoke about this when we met or had our first conversation, but I think that's important to point out. So often we think women think, oh, my biggest mentors were other women, but for me, most of them were men who really took me under their wing and helped me in so many ways and really pushed me forward. And you feel the same, right? You had so many men helping you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mark Ragan, and then the prior, the head of the company I worked for before Ragan is a man, and Don Pazor, and I learned so much from him, and he always supported my growth. And so those are 2 people. It was never like my gender. It's like never really an issue.
Right. Yeah. Wow. We talked about, I was part of your women's group, women's circle, and we talked about the struggles that I've heard. We're almost at 100 shows over the women and over the years of incredible women, and they often talk about how being a CEO, being the top woman in the corporation or the job of the company, whatever, can be very isolating. So how do you juggle that? Is it a scary thing to step outside your office and ask, for people for opinions when many times they look to you you should already have the answer.
Yes, it's the decision making is it's a heavy burden, you know. I welcome, you know, being able to make the decisions. By the end of the day, when I'm on the couch with my husband and it's like, what do you want to watch on TV? It's like, I don't want to decide, you know, I'm deciding on today. But
Right.
but no, in all seriousness, about 2 years ago, I created a personal board of advisors, and I sought out different people who I know to be on my board and for me to bounce ideas off of. And we don't have a board at Ragan, like a professional board. We have a small board, but it's not like your formal board that you would see at a lot of corporations. And I do have an executive committee here at Ragan that we bounce ideas off of each other, and they're very honest with me. I implore them to just tell it like it is and call me out on things. So I don't really want that yes ma'am kind of mentality, and they know that. So I do get frank feedback from my small circle that is our executive committee. But this personal board of advisors are people outside of the company that are in roles that I respect and that I want to learn from them. And also they bring just life experiences that I don't have that can help me to think differently sometimes. And so I lean on them when I have challenges, issues, or I just want to like catch up, bounce some ideas off of them. And it's kind of a mutual relationship where we're bouncing ideas off of each other. But I know I have that support system, and I think everybody should think about who's on your personal board and make it a formal ask. Because there are people that we just turn to for advice, or you know, they could be friends, relatives, colleagues, even industry peers. But when you formalize it and even have an agenda for that call, it's a very valuable thing to do.
I love that. What do you mean? Like you literally said, will you be, I'm forming my personal board, or how do you even say that?
Well, you
I
make a
love this.
list.
Yeah.
Make a list of the people who you'd love to get advice from for business, for business,
Yeah.
not like for
Yeah.
life,
Right.
but for your business role. And let that list sit for like a week or so, because the first list you're going to see is not the right list. Make that list, go back to it. You can always add to it. And there's always an out for the people, you know, it might just last for a year and then it kind of like fizzles, you know, like let's try this is always a good thing rather than this is permanent.
Yeah.
I actually think that with everything that I do, we like to pilot things first before, so there's like an easy exit strategy. So, and then it's just, you know, the person, there's one person I asked who I didn't know very well, but I had a few interactions with her and she was thrilled for the ask. People like to be asked, you know, people want to help. And when you kind of position it that way, I'm asking, I'd love for you to be on my personal board of advisors. Your wisdom would really help me along the way as I'm looking to do XYZ. And you can be as involved or not as you want. I just want maybe 3 calls a year, you know, with you. And there would be an agenda, maybe some pre-work. And, you know, that's kind of it. And you would need to respect their time on that.
Oh, I love that idea. Diane, you might be getting an email from me. I want you as a personal advisor. No, I really do. I mean, I think that's such a brilliant idea. And
It's not my
don't.
idea.
Yeah.
I heard it. I've heard other people. There are many people who do this. It's not something that you advertise, you know, that you would put on your website or, you know, really share. There's something about it being not a secret, but not something that you like amplify out there that
Sure.
makes it even more special.
Right, well, because then you open the door of people. Some people could be offended that they weren't asked, and it becomes this whole
Exactly. Yeah.
nightmare of a thing. Like, what do you mean? I could help you in so many ways. Oh gosh, that whole thing. So I wanted to ask you, when you handle, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but when you handle moments of self-doubt, when that creeps in, because it does, and I think, of course, and of course, no matter what your role is, the doubts creep in. How do you often handle that? Do you like, how long do you let it sit with you before you like, this is ridiculous, like I'm not letting this stay with me?
Yeah. I mean, I think just stepping away, literally and figuratively. I mean, I work very fast. Like I'm a fast mover. And so the hardest part for me is slowing down. And so practicing that slowing down, practicing how to slow down and just like walk away from something that's causing doubt. Just like I was talking about with like making a list and walking away from it. And this is kind of like from my days of journalism. If you have the benefit of writing something and letting it sit for a little while and then coming back to it, it's going to be better.
Yeah.
And it's that same idea. And usually the doubt fizzles with time. I think time is a healer of so many things and a fixer of so many things. And I also, sometimes things just are hard, and sometimes you just might make the wrong move. I always think you win some, you learn some kind of thing. And so it's just a learning moment, and it sounds trite, but it's true. And so anything I have doubts about, again, we're not saving lives here. Anything I have doubts about is fixable. Like even if it goes wrong, it's like fixable. So I just don't, sweat it too much anymore.
Yeah. What do you think has been the driving force behind you to, as you said, to keep going, to keep moving, to keep moving to the point where you were like, I'm ready for CEO? What is your driving force?
My own personal best, I'm a competitive person, but more with just I'm always trying to improve and be better. And I love the community that I'm in and the team that we have. And so it's fun to go to work. So I like this benefit of doing something really fun and with my business hat on and being very successful at it. And then in my personal life, I have the benefit of just a very supportive family. My husband of 35 years, I've been with him for 35 years. So it's, I don't bring in a lot of like personal baggage to my work day, and that's freeing. And I know that not everyone has that benefit. I'm very fortunate in that way, but that keeps me going.
How important is who you choose as a partner personally? How
You mean
important is that?
a spouse?
Yeah.
That part?
Yeah. For your
Oh my God.
success. Yeah.
For my success, it's been pretty critical, I think. He's always been there to support me in the long hours and bouncing ideas off of him. He knows a lot about my business. So I'm able to talk about work at the dinner table, and my husband's kind of interested in it. So, or at least he fakes it, that he's interested. But no, it's great to have any kind of support in your personal life to be successful in business.
Yeah.
And it may not be a partner, it may be a child or an aunt or a best friend, but you need someone outside of work to support you and to remind you that it's not all about work.
Right. Right. And to give that perspective of, in the grand scheme of things, where this falls into. What do you think? I mean, you've been working and now at this for years now. What is the secret to success for you and possibly so many other women? What is your secret, Diane?
Oh my God. The secret?
Or one, or one. What do you think has really, you know?
Perseverance, little bit of grit, that curiosity, and making sure I want to have fun. So I want to be content in my job. And I want the people who work for me and at Ragan to be content too, because you spend a lot of your life at work.
Yeah.
And as you know, I'm like 30 years into my career. It's just, you have to really question, is this worth, people should be questioning, where they should be happy where they're at or content at least. And so I have all of that. And so I'm very motivated by that and grateful for it. But I'm persistent. I love a challenge, and there's a challenge every day, and it's never the same day. Every day is different for me. I like that variety. So that's what I like. Not everybody likes waking up and not necessarily knowing exactly what the day brings, but I love that little bit of uncertainty, I think, is healthy.
Well, that's your journalism background, I think, right? Where any day you never knew what you were stepping into for the day, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes, that's for sure. Let's talk about your morning routine, which I love because I feel like so many successful women have a similar routine. So tell me what your day is like, what time it starts.
Well, I often wake up when it's still dark out, which I know isn't a great thing, but my circadian rhythm, gets me up around 4:30. Maybe if I sleep till 5 a.m., I kind of like overslept in my mind, but I do acknowledge that that would be better if I slept past 5 a.m. But I'm up at around between 4:30 and 5. And
So wait, how many hours is that? How many hours do you get?
I'm usually asleep around 10 p.m.
Okay.
I read before I go to bed. That usually puts me to sleep. And then when I get up, my morning routine is about an hour of a workout in my home gym, an hour of really enjoyable but arguably bad TV, something streaming that I'm watching that is just a guilty pleasure type of thing. Breakfast, we have a dog, so a little bit of time with the dog. And then I'm usually at my desk around 7-ish. I have a daughter who lives abroad, so the timing works for her with the 6-hour difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have some friends who are up early as well. So we will catch up on things like around 8 a.m., something like that. So I actually have some social calls that happen way before 9 a.m., which is a nice way to start the day.
Yeah.
And then I try to step outside, get some sunlight before I start my day, because that's important, but doesn't always happen.
Yeah. It's so funny. When I was getting up early and my dog was there, and my dog used to always just like one eye would open and see me and then be like, no, this is too early, and go back to bed. But I would always be like, I don't want to wake the dog, like I do, because once the dog gets up, then that's a whole process, right? So you're like sneaking around the dog. But I thought that's funny. I mean, it's so early. That's an early time for you.
That is, and it's funny because my dog does the same thing. He's sometimes on the couch, and I know he's disappointed to see me that early, and he doesn't need to go out right away. So he will just leave and go into another room and go back to sleep. So he's got the right idea, but yeah, it is early.
It's funny.
I love the mornings though. It's my favorite time of day.
The quiet of the mornings is, I don't know, there's something about it. Yeah, I feel like you get your best ideas early mornings in the shower. things like that where I feel, and in the car for me is when the good ideas come, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to, I had written down a few questions for you, but for one of them, what's one piece of advice that you wish someone had told you years ago when you first started? Like a critical piece of career advice.
Don't underestimate what you can do, because I had this VP title and senior VP title for a really big chunk of my career. And when I was thinking about what's next for me, I was thinking more same title, different company kind of thing. Like I couldn't really take that big leap into like a role like I have today. And it was one person who said to me, "Why couldn't you be the CEO?" When it was presented to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, why could?" So I just, I had underestimated how far I could go.
Oh, I like that. All right, and then I kind of gave this a little bit earlier, but have you ever felt like you had to choose between being liked and being respected?
All the time.
Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be liked.
Yeah,
I mean, but haters are going to hate.
it's true.
And I'm not saying I have a lot of haters. I'm just saying that
Not you,
if
but
I
everybody else.
focus, if I focus so much on in the workplace on being everyone's friend,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really hard to make the decisions that have to be made for the company, for the business, for the owner of Ragan in this case. So along the way, feelings may be hurt or people may be impacted in some way. And that's where you get the dislikes, I guess. But other than that, I do aspire to be a likable person, have a demeanor and a personality that is likable, unoffensive, but as far as like versus respected, I do want to be respected for what I do and for all the work that I put into it. But I I wouldn't want I would want to have a likable enough personality,
Yeah.
that because if you don't, I think that gets in the way of success as well.
So what was
But will
what?
I be invited to everyone's holiday party who
Right.
who I've impacted with certain decisions? No, and that's okay.
Right, right. That's interesting. Well, as a CEO, do you find that you're more of an extrovert or an introvert?
Ambivert, something somewhere in between. It's funny because some people will describe me as one or the other. Like there isn't a consistent answer to that. And it's interesting because I think a lot of us are a mixture of both. I get a lot out of social interactions and networking. I also need some alone time and time to decompress. But I love being out in the market and in our community. So I think that's like that extroverted part of me. But will I take the stage and get a microphone and start singing in front of no, but I'll do karaoke with a small group of friends. So I think I'm somewhere in between.
That's funny. I know when I'm out and I love it. And then when I'm in, I love that too.
I do too.
All right. Well, I know I don't have much time with you, but what do you think your biggest lesson that you've learned in your career? Hardest lesson, how about?
It's really decisions that have impacted me. I took too personally. And now that I'm in a role where I'm making similar decisions, I can see the other side of it a little bit more clearly. And I know it's not a personal thing. So things that I did take that would be one of the lessons. Things that I did take personally really were business decisions, not personal.
Oh, that's great. Wow. I love that. I love that. Okay. So your next chapter, I mean, where do you bring Ragan and what's ahead for you?
Oh, we have so much going on at Ragan. It's like never a dull moment and always introducing new things. I love launching products and services. So we're going to continue to launch and grow the things we have and bring more people into our community. We have so many great things already. So making them better is like our number one, goal. So I'm excited for that. This Center for AI Strategy and all the things we're doing around AI is really important work. And who knows what's coming with AI, and it's that uncertainty that makes it like an opportunity for us and for me and my team. So I'm excited about that. And getting out there, meeting more people like across beyond the US. I'm heading to London in a few hours and introducing Ragan to a lot of the people there. And so it's just always something new and exciting we can do.
Oh, that's great. I do, before you go, the AI thing, I mean, how has that impacted your company, your role? It's so big now. It's just so big and getting bigger. Yeah.
Well, because we do learning and development, we have so many opportunities for our customers, whether it's a certificate program, a workshop, a conference, a membership group, there's always something for them to learn about AI and like the latest things in AI. So from that customer commercial standpoint, we've made it part of our business strategy. Internally, using AI, it's definitely helped us accelerate a lot of the things that we're doing. Obviously, productivity is the number one benefit that we're all seeing from AI, but now we're creating agents and products that are powered by AI. So it's anyone who thinks they know what's going to happen, doesn't, but we have a lot of, we're getting closer to understanding more what are the best use cases for AI, and how we can capitalize on that, but personally and from a business standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going away, right? We know that. And I think companies like yours, communication companies, are going to be that much more successful and more important as we move forward in this age of AI, for sure.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Lean into it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I think that's it for us. I know Diane has to finish her day.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, you're fantastic. And thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you for sharing your incredible story. Diane Schwartz, CEO of Ragan Communications. I'm Jill Conway, and thank you for listening to the show, celebrating incredible women like Diane. I hope you are inspired to pursue your own goals and believe in yourself and dream bigger. Your voice matters and your story can help others. I hope you join me next time. Follow us on Instagram and have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.